Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen, guys, coming at you on this Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday morning. Well, guys, we've got a lot to talk about this morning. An awful lot of news to get through. We've got news about Goldson, possible Champions League opponents for Rangers. Obviously, we sort of build towards that. I know the season's not over yet. I know that's thinking ahead. But hey, and who are these new signings that are rumoured to be unveiled on Wednesday at the Hearts game? I've got some bit of news on that. What else have we got some news on? Oh, just lots of Rangers things, guys. If you want them, and you know what? If you want that every single day for free, for absolutely free, hit that sub. Ring that notification bell. If you give the video a like, it does help matters. But guys, yeah, absolutely coming at you again this morning, absolutely free. So if you hit the sub, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's start off with a bit of bad news first of all. Obviously, that was the news that Connor Goldson is out for 10 weeks. Now, apparently, that 10 weeks could lead an impact on him being available for those Champions League qualifiers, which is not good. Now, obviously, the intention there will be that Rangers may need to obviously strengthen at the central defensive position. And given what Michael Beale has said in news conferences just recently about strengthening at every position, I think, given the fact that Connor may well be out and miss those vital Champions League qualifiers, or at least not be fit enough to be able to participate, that certainly seems to be a real priority for Rangers now to bring in a bit of central defensive strength. Now, obviously, John Souttar was absolutely superb on Sunday against Hibs, and for me, Souttar has got better game on game on game. I think yes, he had that awful moment against Celtic at that horrible ground across the city from us, but at the end of the day, he's got better. He's developed. I think he looks strong. He plays exceptionally well. Now, obviously, there is talk of Ben Davies being moved on in the summer, and if that is the case, I think Rangers do need to bring in a real top-quality central defender to play alongside John Souttar, especially for those Champions League qualifiers. More of that in this video shortly. Now, Rangers have been linked with a possible bit of a journeyman striker. Now, that's not the only link. Obviously, we have been linked obviously with Josh Maja, but the League 2 season, or League 2 season in France is not yet over yet. Perot, obviously, nothing on that as yet. I don't think for a minute this would be the only striker they would sign, but rumours this morning linking Britt Assombalonga to Rangers. Now, apparently Rangers were previously interested in the player, a player who once had a £15 million price tag. Now, Assombalonga has had a bit of a journeyman career, but he's certainly someone who will score goals wherever he goes. And, given the fact that obviously Rangers will be looking not just for starting strikers, talented players, maybe the likes of Maja, of Perot, of those players, but also a bit of squad depth. Now, could Assombalonga be that squad depth? Now, he will be available for free. That is one of the bonuses of this player. Absolutely nothing. He would cost Rangers zero other than wages. Assombalonga has been with Watford, where he started his career, 4 appearances, 11 appearances for Wealdstone on loan, Braintree as well on loan, before obviously coming back into the league with Southend in 2012-2013 on loan, where he scored 15 goals in 43 appearances, 23 goals in 43 appearances for Peterborough, 30 goals in 65 appearances for Nottingham Forest, 45 appearances in 152 appearances for Middlesbrough. Then he was at Adana Demirspor, which is in Turkey, 12 goals in 49 appearances, and this season has been with Watford in the Championship, scoring 2 goals in 11 appearances in what has been an injury-effective season. He's also a Democratic Republic of Congo international, scoring 1 goal in his 8 caps for the country. So again, someone who could come in, be a squad player. And I think that's probably what he'd be brought in for. He wouldn't be brought in as a starter. He wouldn't be brought in as I don't think has been the main man, certainly, but certainly someone that Rangers could perhaps rely on to back up. Now, given the paucity of striking resources in this season, the fact that with obviously Morelos seemingly well out of favour, given obviously what Michael Beale said after the Aberdeen game, and Antonio Cholak still out injured, Rangers have really suffered up front. And I think, you look at Fashion Sakala, yes, the boy runs and he runs all over the place, but he's not a striker, is he? He's not a player that plays up front. We do need extra depth up front. So Assombalonga could be a decent player to bring in for free to be part of that squad. I think we do need to sign 3 strikers this summer to really strengthen this squad. So Assombalonga could be that man. What do you think, Rangers fans? Let me know in the comments below. Now, Obviously, there was strong comments after the Hibernian game on Sunday from manager, not head coach, manager. Sorry, Michael Beale. Now, Michael Beale obviously trying to drum up, I think, interest in that Hearts game on Wednesday. Now, obviously, the first thing he said was that some of those players who will be departing this summer will have an opportunity to say goodbye to the fans. Quite how that will happen and quite how they will participate in that farewell is unknown at this stage. Is it the stage that Kent and Morelos will suddenly make miraculous recoveries from their injury and play on Wednesday against Hearts, or is it just a case of at the end of the game there'll be a parade, there'll be a lap of honour? Who knows? But that is what he said. Obviously, Alfie was awarded top European goal scorer trophy last night at the awards ceremony at Rangers. Obviously, that's something that Rangers didn't even share on their social media, which again caused a bit of furore around that. And Alfie Morelos did actually post on an Instagram story a picture of that trophy and a confused looking face, which obviously got a lot of Rangers thinking, what is Alfie confused about? Obviously, James Tavernier cleaned up in terms of being the Players' Player of the Year and the Player of the Season. Malik Tillman was the Young Player of the Season, to no one's surprise. But I think, Tavernier certainly is someone who, yes, he does. I think there are fans that don't like him. Don't rate him as a right back, as a defender, but he's certainly someone, who has delivered for Rangers. If you look at the last 5 seasons, he's had 37 goal assists, 18 goal assists, then 35 goals and assists, 35 goals and assists, and so far this season, 28 goals and assists. Almost computer game numbers there for James Tavernier. So fair play to James. But, obviously that was, again, whole confusion around what Alfie there now. Will we see Alfie again? Will we see him in a Rangers shirt again on Wednesday night? And what do the fans feel about seeing Alfie and Ryan Kent back out there in Rangers shirts? Certainly, after that semi-final, there was a great deal of negativity towards the pair of them, especially Ryan Kent for his performance. And, how do we know for definite who is departing at this stage? And, Michael Beale talked about the fact that he'd offered 2 contracts. And at the moment, only Ryan Jack has signed a new contract. And obviously, there is that uncertainty over Malik Tillman. But, is that second player going to be Scott Arfield? Or is it the fact that they want Tillman? Is he the second player they're offering a contract to? What is that situation without a contract stars? How do we know who is departing, who is staying? Maybe the rumor is that there will be a statement on Tuesday as regards clearing that up a little bit more from the club. So maybe there will be more news on who is leaving and who is going tomorrow, or today. Sorry, not tomorrow. I'm recording this on a Monday night, for a Tuesday morning. So yeah, on Tuesday today, there'll be more news on that before the Hearts game. Who knows anyway, but obviously some confusion over that. Now, the other thing, obviously, that Michael Beale talked about going into the Hearts game was that maybe a new signing would be unveiled. Now, that's obviously a complicated process at this stage of the season, given the fact, obviously, the EPL, English Premier League, is still ongoing. Foreign leagues are still ongoing. In terms of England, Championship, League One, League Two have only their playoff finals left to play. So a number of teams have come to the ends of their season, which has got a lot of fans talking about possible people that it could be. Now, obviously, Jack Butland, who it is rumoured now will join Rangers, because of the fact that he's decided that he would be happy to take a wage cut in order to actually play first team football. That was certainly one thing that has been said in the papers recently. Now, a lot of people have said that, we don't need Jack Butland because we have Robbie McCrory. Robbie's obviously, done well in games, but the one thing that worried me slightly about Robbie yesterday was his flapping under the high ball, because when he was put under pressure, it seemed that Robbie flapped a bit, that he wasn't his usual confident self. And that is one thing that slightly worries me about Robbie McCrory, that the fact that he didn't deal well with that pressure. Whereas Jack Butland is someone who does deal well with pressure, who commands his area, who comes for crosses, who does very well indeed. So could it be Jack Butland? It's unlikely to be Butland, however, because he is still under contract to Crystal Palace. He has still got a game to play for Manchester United and an FA Cup final to play in as well. So it's unlikely to be Butland, as he is still obviously under contract. And obviously with the transfer window not open, the chances of being able to do that deal are slim indeed. Apologies if you heard squeaking on that video. By the way, my dog has just found a toy that he's decided to chew during the video. Obviously, the rumours, other ones, are around Dujon Sterling and Kieran Dowell. Now, it's pretty much seems that both of these deals are done deals, that both Sterling and Dowell are going to join Rangers. In the case of Sterling, it is a case that it's said that he will join Rangers after choosing to come to the club and turning down a new contract at Chelsea, feeling that his first team opportunities are more likely to come at our club. Now, Sterling is out of contract. He did play this season on loan at Luton. He is not Luton, at Stoke, sorry. He is unlikely to be even featured in Chelsea's team now. So it could be that Sterling is the player that's going to be unveiled. Yes, I know Chelsea still have one game left, but unlike Butland, he is not involved with Chelsea in their squad in any way, shape, or form this season. And I think the rules would preclude him from being anyway because he's been on loan at a championship club this season, I think. Now, yes, that's actually, I think that's the rules now, that in England, when a player has been out on loan at an English club, they can't return to their parent English club until the transfer window reopens. I think that is the rule. I'm not 100% certain on that, so don't quote me. Kieran Dowell, however, is out of contract now with Norwich, and Norwich's season is over. So Dowell is probably the most likely of the three to be the player that Rangers are going to unveil, given the fact, like I said, Norwich's season is over. He is out of contract. Championship season is all but over, apart from the playoff final between Luton and Coventry, which is on the 27th of May. So at the end of the day, it's more likely to be Sterling or Dowell for my money. Dowell, I think, is the favourite to be unveiled. It could be both of them. It could be both Sterling and Dowell. Who knows? But certainly something to look forward to in that game. Now, we will be bringing you a live stream here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. It'd be fantastic if you could come and join us for that. Get your thoughts, comments, questions in that. We will be there, obviously, a little bit before the game, hopefully bringing you news of which players it is that have been unveiled. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about this morning is the Champions League. Now, I know Champions League final is Inter Milan versus Manchester City. I get that. It's not us, unfortunately. Maybe one day. Hey, guys, maybe one day it will be Rangers. But obviously, thoughts have already started to turn to next season. Obviously, there is a lot of conversation in the media and amongst the fans and amongst the club officials as to who we will bring in, how we will get that squad bedded in, the fact that we need to get this business done early, the fact that we need to be ready for those Champions League qualifiers. Now, the Champions League qualifiers that Rangers will be involved in, first involved in, will be the third qualifying round of the Champions League. The first leg of the third qualifying round of the Champions League will take place on August 8th and 9th, with the second leg a week later on the 15th of August. And this is to involve Rangers. Now, Rangers will want to get back-to-back Champions League qualifiers, obviously after qualifying last year, obviously beating PSV Eindhoven, which was very impressive indeed. So they will be entering the competition at the same round they entered last year. They won those two ties, like I said, against Union Saint-Gilloise of Belgium, and obviously the Dutch giants PSV in a playoff before obviously it went a bit Pete Tong didn't in a bit. Don't want to watch in the group stages against Napoli, Ajax, and Liverpool. Now, Michael Beale's men will play the first leg of their qualifying round in early August. So obviously it is very important that when the preseason training restarts, they need to get those players bedded in, ready and prepared for those two vital qualifiers. Now, I know what people have said about the embarrassment of playing in Champions League, but for me, one thing outweighs that, and that's the money you get. You can earn up to £50 million from Champions League revenue. And that's something I think when we are trying to rebuild this squad and rebuild the team, that is vital funds. If then they can get into, say, if we can finish in the top two and stand a chance of qualifying for the next round, that would be fantastic. Unlikely, maybe, given the strength of other teams around Europe. But who knows with this team? A more committed, fitter, more tactically astute team under Michael Beale, anything is possible, as we saw in the Europa League last season, all the way to the final, beating some very good teams on route. Borussia Dortmund, Red Star, for example, RB Leipzig, all teams that have done well in Champions League in the past, but Dortmund and Leipzig, certainly. So, let's not completely rule it out, but at least a third place finish would actually give us Europa League football after Christmas. Now, the opponents that Rangers could have is being whittled down as seasons come to an end, as league championships finish across Europe. Now, first thing to note is Rangers will be seeded for the third qualifying round, which means they will avoid some of the more tricky teams. As things stand, some of the options that Rangers could get are Sturm Graz of Austria. In that third qualifying round, they finished second to RB Salzburg, who won the Austrian league for the 10th successive season. Another possible team would be, and here we go, I'm going to massacre these names, Kucharici or TSC Bakla Topola of Serbia. With one fixture remaining, they are separated by only 2 points in the Serbian league. Again, teams that they could possibly play. They will both be unseeded. The runners-up from France will also join in this round as well. That is likely to be Lens, who are 5 points clear of Marseille in second place. Again, another possibility. Rangers, however, will avoid the likes of Braga, for example, who will also be seeded. As well as Braga, PSV, Ajax will also be seeded alongside Rangers. So Rangers will avoid PSV and Ajax in this third qualifying round. So, you know, at the end of the day, it does seem that that early third round hopefully will give us a tie that we are capable of beating and going on to the next round. If Rangers were to progress from that third qualifying round, they will also be seeded for the next round. We're likely to be, because we have a very impressive coefficient due to that Europa League run, and would be in pot 3, whereas Celtic would be in pot 4. But we can't play Celtic in a qualifying round, just to make that clear. So obviously, which teams that will be is obviously massively unknown at this stage, because of course it would depend on who wins ties in the third qualifying round. But we would be seeded higher than Celtic in that fourth qualifying round, that playoff round, to go into the Champions League proper. Like I've said, I think, you know, it is a situation I think we do need to be ready for. We do need to get these players in early. We do need to get these players bedded in early and ready to go. Because at the end of the day, the Champions League money is something that can separate you. You know, Celtic obviously are at the moment financially stronger than us. So I've heard. I don't know. I'm not an expert because I don't care. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't look. I don't read news about them. I don't really listen to what's said about them. I only concentrate on my team, on our team, on the only team in Scotland that matters, Glasgow Rangers. So I think Champions League is something we really do need to qualify for. Champions League is something that will give us that guaranteed income, that will give us the possibility of, you know, building this squad even further. And that is something that is absolutely vital for Rangers going forward. Look, I get people think that, you know, well, what's the point? We're going to go into the Champions League group stage. We're going to get pumped by teams. You know, if we get drawn with the likes of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and Barcelona, what chance do we stand? But you know what, guys, who knows? You know, two teams go on a football pitch, anything is possible. You know, who we bring in over the summer will influence this. Look, perhaps you can say I've got royal blue goggles on. Perhaps I'm being ridiculously silly on this. But at the end of the day, you've got to back your team. And for me, Champions League football is something we need. Champions League football is more exciting. It's very exciting. It is something that I think will help the club as well and raise standards. It is also a great attraction for, you know, for pulling in players as well. You know, the fact that if we qualify for Champions League, if business is not done by the early part of pre-season, if there are still players coming in through August before the transfer window shuts, the opportunity to play Champions League football is certainly something that will be attractive to players. So at the end of the day, I think that, you know, qualifying for the Champions League, anything is possible. You know, make us dream, dare to dream. We're feeling it, guys. We did it in the Europa League. We got all the way to the final. We beat Dortmund. We beat RB Leipzig. We beat Braga. We beat Red Star. And we almost beat Eintracht Frankfurt in the final. So at the end of the day, what have we got to fear? What have we got to fear? Yes, theoretically, you go out on the field against the Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, you know, even a Manchester City or an Arsenal. Yes, they have got more expensive players, but you know what? Anything is possible on that day, and anything, you know, given the opportunity, these players given the opportunity to play up, you can see things happen where teams that are not fancy, teams that don't feasibly have a chance, can go and beat some of these better teams, these bigger teams who have more money than Glasgow Rangers. That is one thing we've got to hold on to going forward, and I think that's why these Champions League qualifiers are so important, and getting the squad together before that will be absolutely vital. Right, well, guys, that's pretty much it for this morning in terms of news about our great team, the most successful team in football, the only team that matters. Obviously, you know, we've got 2 games to go. Hearts Wednesday night, guys, come and join us for that live stream. And then obviously St Mirren on Saturday in the final game of the season, as we seek to obviously finish and put to bed this pretty awful season. What has not been a great season to be a Rangers fan at all, has it? So, you know, obviously join us for the live stream. Great to have you on board. Guys, remember, we are the people. We are the only people that matter. Thank you again for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please remember to hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and give the video a like. It does help. Speak to you soon.